Happy Mother's Day, beautiful ladies.
Happy Mother's Day to you.
I'm so excited to just spend a little bit of time with you. You know, as women, we all have just our own incredible stories and journeys, and I'm thankful to just spend some time and hear a little bit more about you all today, my wonderful and amazing, beautiful sisters in the Lord. So Mother's Day for us to enjoy. Hopefully you have some good plans, all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and just get started and have some cool discussions. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So first, Joy, I know that we kind of have something in common, both having 3 kids, kind of sort of around the same age as well. So just tell us, like, where are you in your journey of motherhood right now? What is it like having a toddler and then an almost preteen and all that good stuff?
It's right now, I would say this is a challenging season for me of motherhood. Definitely for the reasons you said. So having a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 2-year-old. With my 2-year-old growing up pretty much in the pandemic, there's definitely effects of that, and just thinking about my kids really not having a real school year in like 2 years, and it shows itself in different ways.
Yes.
I feel like my daughter, my 10-year-old, the oldest, she's I don't know if she's kind of going into she's like starting puberty a little earlier than I expected. So the emotions and just her stuff is like, okay, Jesus. So it's a lot of prayer right now. It's just a bumpy season. And then my middle, you know, he's definitely acting like a middle child right now. I don't like to use that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but he's different. He's different. So yeah, it's just been it's a bit of a roller coaster right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you 100%, especially with that that pandemic part has really played more of a part than I think a lot of people give a lot of attention to. So Ruth, come on in and help us out. You are also a mother of 3.
I am a mother
but
of 3. A
your
little bit
children
older.
are not 10, 7, and 2.
I'm not going to tell their ages.
Yes,
but
don't tell
all,
their age.
They're all in that 40,
Yes.
40-something
Yes.
or almost 40 realm.
So tell us, just help us out.
They're wonderful grown-up kids. They're busy. They each have their own families.
Yeah.
I have 8 grandchildren. 6 of them are around here, and 2 moved last summer to Portland, Oregon, but we're going to get together this summer, so that's good. My encouragement for you is you will get through it, and you'll get through it just fine. My admiration for you is that you are career women as well as moms. And that was not my experience. I stayed home. I was happy to stay home. Did a lot of volunteer work, so it wasn't like I did nothing. But the expectations that you all have on you, I don't know that I could have done that. And so I so fully admire you and appreciate all the challenges that you have, I think, just a little bit.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, but also thank you for giving us a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
There is light. There is light.
That
try to
things,
remember.
yes,
There is
that
light.
things will be okay.
Yeah. And you will forget the hard stuff. You'll just, that's what I had other people tell me that, and that's what I've experienced too, that oh, these days were awful, this one was hard, this one was hard, and now it's just kind of like a blur of it wasn't so good, but I remember the good. And that's to encourage you too, because you'll remember the joyful times that you have with those kiddos.
Oh,
I need that because I could be a pessimistic person. I know that, so
yeah.
I receive all of that.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're in it, like, I don't think we mean to be negative, but just when you're in it, it's hard to see through.
Yes.
You
It's
know?
like you speak from a place of overwhelm. I was talking to my counselor about that, and I'm like, I just feel so bad for feeling like this. And she's like, you're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's okay. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah. So we started by talking about just like our different stories and things, that we have been through, the good things that have impacted us, the not so good things that have impacted us, especially just going through life, not only as mothers, but just women in general. So I know that Greg and I have been very transparent about our dealings with infertility, and having, unfortunately, a couple of losses there. And I just know how that has transformed me, how I saw the hand of God in my life in some of those hard seasons. So let's see, Ruth, if you don't mind, just talking through some of your challenges that you have faced, not only in motherhood, but just as a woman. How could you encourage maybe us here today, or as well as ladies who could be watching, who Mother's Day isn't, they weren't really looking forward to today.
Yeah, yeah. Mother's Day is a celebration for a lot of women, and for a lot of women, it's a grief. And for other women, they'll just say, I'll be happy when the day is over, and they know it'll pass. My journey, wow, this could take all night because I have a lot of years on you, that's for sure. But my journey, I would say, is mostly marked by the grace of God in my life.
Yeah.
And if I look who I was as a mom at your age and who I am now, I've changed a lot. And it's really been through the goodness of God and experiences that He allowed me to have that sometimes were challenging and sometimes were wonderful, but I knew that they were from Him.
Wow, that's good.
And he's grown me up. When my kiddos were between probably 3 and 7, because I had 3 and 4 years, my husband and I went to a conference called the Exchanged Life Conference, and it was where I first began to understand the meaning of Galatians 2:20. I have been crucified with Christ, and Christ lives through me. He lives in me. I'm sure that I had, as a PK, as a church-going person, I heard it, but I didn't know it. I knew it here. And so that was the beginning of probably my biggest transformation in my life. And God has been faithful in reforming me into the person that I think He wants me to be. Now it's easy to do that because I can love on my grands and send them home, so I don't have your challenges so much anymore. But I guarantee you, His faithfulness is for all of us, and His love is for all of us.
Wow, that's all. I love what you said, that despite how you grew up in church and all that, but it was your experience of how you said your kids were like 3 and 7, so you were like way grown when you really got that.
I was way grown. Yes,
Wow.
yeah. I was in my mid-late 30s.
Wow, that's awesome.
But it was the time that I could hear it.
Yeah.
So I may have heard it before, but it was the time when I could hear it.
Wow, that's important.
Yeah.
So important. Awesome. So Joy, at kind of the same thing. How can you encourage others on this day? Some of your experiences, some things you went through, if you don't mind sharing.
I guess for me, some things that I went through, definitely trying to figure out balance was, and it's an ongoing thing. Like, how do you balance? Like, is that a thing with motherhood? And I think for me, God always kind of put me in a position to, I have to train myself kind of to think about the goodness of God, like the fact that my children are healthy.
Yeah, that's good.
The fact that I'm able to provide for them and they're able to thrive, and even when they get on my nerves, like, they're a blessing. And so I think I always have to remember that. And then also just having a tribe of other women to help me too.
That's so important.
That's been really, really helpful for me in motherhood, because my mom passed about 5 years ago this year. And, not having her, I still think about it. It's like, man, I wish I could ask my mom, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? But I think for me, God has really, just kind of transformed me from the inside out with kind of giving me a skill set with some things to be okay. Like, just kind of like some stuff is almost innate, and it's like, how am I able to do this? And I know a lot of it is just from my mom's upbringing. So that still reminds me, like, that God is faithful, God is always there.
Yeah.
And he'll give you what you need when you need it. So even though I don't have my mom to, like, ask her a lot of those questions, I don't know, it just, God provides it, whether it's through someone else or just kind of showing me how to do it, giving me strategy for how to approach things. So I would say for me, that's been good. And I tell other women that who've asked me, like, about motherhood, and I'm like, it's innate. Like, God truly will give you what you need. Like, we're made to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
And he also gives you that tribe of people too. So, and that is very important to me, like other women who I could talk
Absolutely.
about parenting and get help. Like, how do you approach this? You know, this is a difficult season for me. What do you suggest? And that wisdom has truly carried me through.
Yeah.
You know, I am more of an introvert. So the idea of having a tribe of women around me when my kids were growing up was great in theory, but I didn't have that too much. And I remember at different seasons just praying, Lord, give me the right person, give me a good friend. And he was always faithful in that. So I didn't have this tribe, and I so think that it's the most wonderful thing to have. But even if you don't have it, you go to the Lord with whatever your issue is. You know, and he says, I've been waiting for you to come. I have the answer waiting for you.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Exactly. So good. So good. So, Ruth, how is it being kind of a mother to mothers? You spoke of having 8 grandchildren. So how are you kind of walking alongside your daughter or even your daughter-in-laws or women here at church, things like that? What's that experience like?
It is, it's a great joy. And it's a great fullness for me because my husband died just about 5 years ago. And so his loss will never be filled, but God replaces that emptiness with so much other beauty and so much other goodness. And my grandchildren, 6 of them, as I said, are in the area, and they are delights. They don't need me quite so much anymore, but they still love me because now they're all in school.
A little older,
They're a little bit older. But we have wonderful times together. My daughter and I are good friends, and I am so thankful for that. That's a rich blessing. And
it is.
Daughters-in-law as well. I love each family is very different.
Yeah.
And so what mamas have to learn, old mamas have to learn, is to, I've had my time, and now I'm going to love the way you do things, and maybe just ask questions about something rather than tell, right? Because it's their opportunity with their husbands to raise their children the way they see God telling them to do. I can remember my husband, our family, my generation used to laugh about what our parents did. And there were nights when my husband and I would go to bed and hear our kids kind of whispering and said, now it's our turn, they're talking about us. It's just what happens. It's just what happens. And the other thing is being Mama Ruth at Renew. That there's probably no greater joy outside of my family, right along with the birth family that I have, than to be part of Renew and to love this new family that has adopted me. It's a great joy to learn and encourage and laugh and cry and all those things that you do with the people that you care about.
Yes, and that you love. Oh, we love you. Yes, thank you for being a part of the family.
My pleasure.
Yes, we love you. So, Mama Ruth, you thanked and acknowledged Joy and I for being, working moms and things like that. So, and then Joy, you mentioned the word balance, which, does that exist, right? So, but you're doing it. You here, you're beautiful, you got yourself all together after having a crazy day and having to make big decisions at work. So what are maybe just like a top 2 of things that you make sure that you do for you when it comes to that balance, the B word, the balance thing. What do you do for you? What's your top 2 kind of non-negotiables?
Ooh, non-negotiables. You know what? Honestly, I think I'm still trying to figure that out. I think for so long I was always like, well, I want to make sure my kids are happy. I'm the type that will kind of put myself on the back burner.
Yeah.
And that has definitely done me a disservice.
Yeah.
So I am
Know that story.
relearning how to say no and let my no be no
Yep.
and be okay
Yes.
with that. I was
That's
just
it.
talking to my husband about that. He was like, I have no problem saying no. Why? Because I'm entitled to say no. And why? Because I said so. We were saying that this morning. I was like, I just feel bad. And he's like, why are you feeling bad? We give our kids everything that they need. So, I feel like it's easy for men. It's just
Yeah.
different because, you're the nurturer and your kids are with you a lot. And I think sometimes for me as a working mom, I feel guilty and I feel like I'm not doing enough. And so I have to, I actually drew or painted a picture that says mommy time. And so my 2 things that I am working on daily is to say no and to give myself time, whether it be an hour or 30 minutes. I learned to lock my doors. Like, I can't go in my room without my kids, like, just,
absolutely.
I lock
Yes.
the door. And
Walk
sometimes,
right in.
sometimes I lock that door. I know, right? Like, did I tell you to knock? Like, I'll lock my bedroom door and I'll even lock the bathroom door. Like, they can come in, I'm like, just in case. So definitely taking that time for me, even if it's just sitting in the bed, or sitting on the floor and just being. Sometimes I might color. I enjoy music. I do photography, so like taking time to do that and work on my website and my small business. Those are the things that I'm working on and being unapologetic about it.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. Unapologetic, not having to necessarily explain what you're doing and why. I love that. I think for me, I'm like relearning what is it that I really like. Like in this season of life, like, just whatever it is that I want to do, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And I need to take on what you said and not be apologetic or feel bad about it. So I'm kind of relearning what is it that I want to get into. If that's, I don't know, gardening. I don't know if my allergies will really allow that, but, gardening or I don't know, maybe. So I'm interested to see.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what I bloom and
I am
blossom
so
to be.
happy that you're doing
good
that
on
at your
that.
age, because I didn't. And so sometimes my grands will say, well, what did you like to do? What were your hobbies? And I kind of go, blah, 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 blah. Because I
Yeah.
didn't. I just always put everybody else first, and that's not wrong, but it didn't allow me to kind of be a fuller me. And maybe that's what I'm experiencing in this part of my life at this old age. Who am I? Yeah, just stepping out a little bit, and again, it has to do with renew. It has to do with new experiences and doing a little bit of travel, but it's mostly just loving into new people
Yeah.
and enjoying and being an encourager.
Yes. Yes. I love that you hit the road for Easter
Yeah. Yeah.
by yourself
I
and took
did.
a trip.
I
And
drove out to Pennsylvania to see a college
Yes,
friend
love
who's ill, and it's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
So you take advantage of those,
Yeah,
right?
do what you want.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So what last encouraging words do you have for a mother, woman in general?
My last encouraging words are words that I wrote down because I
Yes.
didn't want to forget them.
Exactly.
When I heard about doing this, I prayed and I said, God, what is the message? Because it's beyond moms. It's beyond moms to all women. It's beyond women to men. It's to all people. And it really is that I would just say, don't cheat yourself out of the joy and richness of growing deep into Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'll try to say it again without looking. Don't cheat yourself from growing into the joy and richness that you can have a full life with Jesus.
Yeah.
That's where it is. That's where it is. He brings us through all this stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. For a reason. Don't teach yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got something to write on a sticky note and put on my mirror.
I do that too.
Yeah.
I
So
have my
yep.
Post-its
Okay. So
all
there
on
you
my
go.
mirror.
What's your post-it today? What's your post-it note message for somebody out there?
I guess for me, because I think, every Easter, every Mother's Day, I think about my mom because she's not here anymore. So, in thinking about, those who've lost a mom, it does get better. God, you mentioned, Mama Ruth, God feeling the emptiness. Like, you never can fill the void, but that emptiness God does feel. And, but take your time and grieve as you need to. There's no time limit, and that's okay. And, God will give you what you need. He will send the people that you need. So just know it gets better.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, it gets better. God will give you what you need. Don't cheat yourself. And I think my message would just be, God still works miracles. It might not come in the package or the way, in the time frame that you expect. I won't say the age that I turned a couple weeks ago, but it's a big number, and I have a 1-year-old, and it's not at all what I thought. I very well could have kids going to college, in college, and I'm still changing diapers, but God still works miracles, and that miracle might come in the least way that you expected, but just know that you are still on God's mind. And he cares about you.
He does.
Yes. So I love you, ladies. This time was absolutely awesome.
It was.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day. I hope you have a wonderful day.